Just like demand, there's also a price elasticity of supply. Elasticity is a measure of responsiveness to price changes. If we change the price, how much will producers respond? That's the price elasticity of supply. It's calculated just the same way. Elasticity, represented by the Greek letter epsilon, is equal to the percent change in the quantity supplied divided by the percent change in the price. That triangle in there is the Greek letter delta, and it represents the word change. If we start at a price of 30, and at that price producers make 40 units, but then raise the price to 50, and see that this incentivizes producers to increase production to 60 units, we can calculate the elasticity of supply. A percent change is calculated by taking a new value, subtracting an old one, and dividing the difference by the old value. Here in the numerator is the percent change in the quantity supplied. We started at a quantity of 40 and ended at a quantity of 60. So the percent change is 60 minus 40, all divided by 40, which gives us 0.5 or 50%. The percent change in the price is the new price, 50, minus the old price, 30, divided by the old price, 30. That gives us 0.6 repeating, or 66.7%. 50% divided by 66.7% is 0.75. This means that if the price increases by 1%, we expect producers to increase production by 0.75%. As with demand, we have three categories for the price elasticity of supply. Due to the law of supply, the price elasticity of supply is always positive, and so there's no need to take the absolute value like we did with demand. When elasticity is greater than 1, we call it elastic. A very elastic supply curve will look like this yellow supply curve. If the price changes even a little, the quantity supplied will change by a lot. It's very responsive. When the elasticity is equal to 1, we call it unit elastic. This would just be a special case, and unlike for demand, we don't expect to see it very often. When the price elasticity is less than 1, we call it inelastic. The red supply curve would be very inelastic because even large changes in the price can barely budge the quantity supplied. Here's an example of why the price elasticity of supply matters. In 2021 and 2022, many firms complained that they just weren't able to hire enough workers to run their businesses at full steam. There was a lot of competition for workers, and that led to an increase in wages. In fact, between March 2020 and March 2022, the wages for the lowest income earners increased by 20%. Despite paying more, however, firms continued to complain that they couldn't hire enough people. That suggests that the supply of labor was inelastic. If the supply of labor were elastic, then an increase in the wages paid to workers would lead to a large increase in the number of workers willing to work. But if the supply of labor is inelastic, then an increase in wages might not increase the number of workers willing to work very much at all. So, what would make supply more or less elastic? Just as it was with demand, time is a major factor. Supply becomes more elastic over time as people figure things out and find alternatives. Opportunity cost is another major factor. In 2021 and 2022, lots of workers just had plenty of better options. And so the opportunity cost of taking a waitstaff job at a restaurant was too high. What else do you think might influence the elasticity of supply?